This past weekend, I bought a giant stack of Nintendo handhelds at a garage sale, but that's just the beginning. If you're new here, I've been turning my basement into the ultimate retro video game hangout without spending any money out of pocket. I buy and sell items on eBay to help fund the game collection, and this past weekend's haul was by far the largest purchase I've ever made. Before I show you everything I grabbed this weekend, let's take a quick look at the sales from the past few days. So the numbers you're seeing on screen reflect the actual profit after eBay fees, my cost of goods, and my expected taxes. So all in, my total profit from the past few days is about $170. So let's get back to that huge haul. In total, I ended up buying 15 Game Boy Advance SPs, 2 OG Game Boy Advances, 3 original DSs, 3 DS Lites, 1 DSi, 3 DSi XLs, 3 Game Boy Colors, a Game Boy Pocket, a 2DS, an OG Game Boy, and a PSP. I also bought a big stack of PS1 games and another stack of random Nintendo games, including a Nintendo GameCube Game Boy player. All of this stuff came from the same guy I met a few weeks ago that had sold me a Game Boy Micro. Long story short, I found out he works in some sort of recycling center or something, and this was the stuff he had been setting aside and saving for the past few years. It might be hard to tell from the video, but many of these are rough. About a third don't work outright, another third work but are in poor condition, and the last third really just need a bit of cleaning. All in, I spent $1,000 total, and I estimate the value around $2,000 to $2,500 once I managed to get everything in working order. Now this is a big project. I might have just bought myself work for the next 3 to 6 months. I'm planning on keeping quite a few things from this haul. I never grew up with a PlayStation and have never booted up a Crash or Spyro game in my entire life. I've been on the lookout for cheap PS1 stuff, so I'm glad to have finally found some. Now most of these need case swaps, but once I do, they will be going into the collection. This stack here already has pretty clean cases and are ready to go. I also got this copy of Pokemon Yellow with somehow still a working battery. Happy to add that to the Game Boy cartridge stack. Finally is this copy of Pokemon Diamond that just needs a case swap. I'm not actively hunting Pokemon games and usually do sell them when I find them, but this one I sunk tons of hours into back in the day, and I'm happy to get it back into the collection. Today I spent some time organizing these handhelds, and I at least separated out the ones that definitely don't work. At least, at first brush. They need some kind of work done to them. They are not in sellable condition. I wish there was more I wanted to keep, honestly, from this bundle. I think I'm going to end up selling most of the stuff that's in here. Some of these that I separated that don't work might end up being projects of some kind. So let me show you what I got here. A couple of them have some screen issues. There's a Game Boy Color that wouldn't power on. 2 Game Boy Advance that doesn't turn on. A Game Boy Advance that turns on and works but is just corroded, has a bad battery contact. I just need to swap that out. This does not turn on, and the screen clearly got some issues with the screen here. This one might end up being a mod project at some point. I haven't put a mod into an original Game Boy, so I thought that might be fun. That could be a project for another time. Some OG DSs. These have some extreme hinge damage, and so does that one down there. So we'll see. I separated these out into a box for a later date. We'll get through the low-hanging fruit first. At least try and get as much of my initial investment back as quickly as I can. And these will save for a later date, and might be some fun projects in here too. And we only made one sale yesterday. It was for this Offspring UMD music video for PSP. Pretty sweet. So we were testing this one to go ahead and list on eBay. The start button is a little finicky, and it's a little bit dirty around the buttons and stuff, so I'm going to pop this guy open, see if we can't get it working a little bit better. So we're just going to pop this thing open. We just want to get at the buttons. Get some ISO in that power switch there. So I can just pop this guy out. And it actually does, funny enough, looks like the start button is a little bit dirty. There's a little bit of dirt on there. So that might have been it, see? There you go. Grab a couple of double A's. So it was the start button that was giving us a problem before. Oh, so much better. Nice. I had this one other Game Boy from that lot, this Game Boy Pocket. It works great. Again, it just needs a cleaning. Damp paper towel on here. So let's just wipe down the case a little bit. If you have any stubborn dirt, toothpicks are great. They just get right in those little grooves. Oh, there we go. Looks good to me. All right, this one's ready to go. And over the next few days, I managed to list a bunch of stuff from this huge lot. As is usually the case, the Handhelds sold really fast along with a few other things. So at this point, we're still pretty deep in the hole on that initial $1,000 investment. But I'm hopeful over the next few weeks, I'll be able to make some big progress on it. And part of the journey of this channel is actually fixing up this back room of my basement as my dedicated eBay room. It'll also help my videos look a lot prettier having painted walls and proper lighting. The next step is to get this floor cleaned and ready for paint and primer next week. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, please don't forget to drop a like and consider subscribing for my future game hunting videos. See you in the next one.